Welcome back. Let's now turn our attention to another issue which has cropped up in some of the states in the country. As 4 states, in fact, which are continuing to be affected from serious cases of the bird flu. In fact, large number of crows, ducks, other migratory birds have all been found dead in Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, Kerala, as well as Madhya Pradesh. In Himachal, in fact, around 1,800 migratory birds, most of them bar-headed geese, have been found dead in the Pongdam Lake sanctuary. 25,000 ducks were found dead in Kerala. 425 crows in Rajasthan, 400 crows in Madhya Pradesh have died from the flu. But let's first understand what the bird flu really is. Now, it is a viral infection and it doesn't just affect birds but humans as well. So people in close contact with bird or bird droppings are the most vulnerable. People, however, can't catch the virus from eating fully cooked chicken or eggs. So important that the eggs or the meat that the chicken that you eat is completely cooked. Now, touching contaminated surfaces can in fact spread the infection, but no sustained human-to-human transmission is there for the bird flu. Meanwhile, as far as Kerala is concerned, it has been put on high alert after the bird flu was confirmed in 2 districts in Kottayam and Alapi. In fact, the bird flu has been declared as a state-specific disaster in Kerala. More than 25,000 ducks in the region have died. The virus found in samples of dead ducks is the H5N8 strain of the avian influenza. And the state has ordered culling of over 40,000 birds in the affected regions. A neighbouring state of Tamil Nadu is also cautious and has stepped up surveillance in about 26 checkposts in the border districts.
After the H5N8 subtype of the avian influenza virus was found in the birds and the ducks in Alappuzha and Kottayam districts, a large number of such ducks have been brought from various parts of Alappuzha district, especially in Kutanad region, for culling purposes. In the next 3 days, the Animal Husbandry Department is planning to cull at least 35,000 ducks, which has been brought from these areas. As you can see in the visuals in the screen, that these are the ducks which will be culled in the days to come. The Animal Husbandry Department has sent all the samples of those ducks which have died in the past few days to the Bhopal Institute, and in most of them the H5N8 variant has been confirmed. Now, what the experts say is that these ducks, virus, H5N8 subtype virus, even though it does not transmit to human beings as far as birds are concerned, these are lethal, these are dangerous, and there are chances that more such ducks and birds will die in the coming days. Also, the government in the meantime is also providing a compensation of 300 rupees per duck to each of these farmers. As far as the incomes of these farmers are concerned, most of these farmers who are dependent on this duck farming, duck rearing, has been very badly affected after the report, after the news of this virus has come out. Most of them, their livelihood is directly connected to the duck rearing, and hence their livelihood is being very badly affected.
Let me welcome my guests who are joining me on this discussion. Dr. Dinesh Bhurani, Director, Haemato-Oncology, Rajiv Gandhi Cancer Institute, and Dr. Haresh Salve, Associate Professor, Center for Community Medicine, AIIMS, is with us as well. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us. Of course, the bird flu is not something that's new, but I want to first understand, Dr. Bhurani, how serious is the situation at this point in time? There are 4 states which are dealing with it right now. How bad is the situation according to you?
This is definitely spreading into the birds. So there are different kinds of birds which have been affected, and there's a serious concerns they are spreading among them. But so far, the good part is not been reported to be the human spread. But there are definitely concerns. There are some sporadic cases of human transmission with the previous bird flus have been there in all over the world. Though the numbers are very low, but definitely the concerns are. So because of these concerns, we need to have a high alert. We need to restrict the areas where the virus can spread to the other parts. So definitely, it has been spread to the 4 different states, and we want to restrict them to the specific parts.
Right. Dr. Salve, your view on how seriously this needs to be taken at this point in time, especially in trying to contain it.
Basically, currently we are going through the influenza pandemic, so that's warn more authorities. As mentioned before, it has two issues. One good thing about the bird flu is the human-to-human transmission is less reported. But one bad thing, a serious thing about bird flu is it is more serious. If we compare with the COVID, where mortality is almost 0.03, 0.1%, and ranging from that range, the mortality reported for the limited cases of bird flu is ranging from almost 30% to 50%. Though we say that almost around 1,500 cases are reported so far for the bird flu, which is from H5 family. I think the current also in the Rajasthan H5N1 has been reported, and some other subtype has been reported from the Kerala. So there is need to be vigilant on this aspect, and of course it has its socio-economic impact with respect to the local bird market, and basically the local level traders are affected. So it has impact on the economy, it has impact on the lifestyle. So we need to be vigilant with respect to the its spread, its type we are witnessing in the various states.
Yes, Dr. Salve, in fact, just on that point that you mentioned of how it impacts, traders and the sort of instinctive reaction that people have to sort of just stop all poultry and eggs, and that in turn has its own ripple effects. What is it that one needs to know at this point in time, the precautions that one needs to take when it comes to sort of, taking the concerns being raised about bird flu?
With respect to the precaution, we need to understand how it spreads. So as far with the current evidence available with us with respect to bird flu, it spreads mostly among the various species of the birds, the ducks, and the chickens. And the human transmission occurs in a close contact. So mostly it occurs when you are working with the poultry, when you are working in the local bird market, or you are dealing with the patient who is affected with the bird flu. So first thing I will suggest to the general public is you should not go into the panic mode because it is quite understandable that we are into the pandemic, so it is high chances that people may go into the panic mode. So we did not have to go to panic mode. It doesn't spread through the chicken when we eat it, because most of the time we eat a cooked chicken in our country. Eggs is another important ingredient in our daily routine. So most of the time we eat a cooked egg. So the chances of spreading it through the meat and the egg is very less. But yes, the people who are staying in the close contact with the poultry, particularly in these states where it has been reported, there needs to be vigilant with respect to their local contacts with the birds and the bird market, because the transmission and cluster happens there.
Okay. In fact, Dr. Bhurani, what, according to you, are the issues at this point in time to ensure that it doesn't spread beyond these 4 states right now? What would it sort of take to spread further and quickly to the rest of the country?
We need to recognize this is a serious issue. So the health authorities of the different states has to recognize it is a serious issue. When it is in the 4 states, it can spread to the neighbor states. So all the other neighbor states also has to be vigilant whether they are also reporting some kind of incidences in their states. It has to be contained. So which area has been there has to be seriously restricted, and we need to be checking it and finding it out. About this, and the way the Kerala has done it, putting it as a state disaster, putting it to the high alert, culling more birds. So we have to try to restrict it to and they have the various kilometer, the 1 kilometer, the 2 kilometer area has been isolated. So these kind of steps needs to be taken by the states. Where it has not been reported has to be vigilant. It doesn't mean if it's not reported, it is not there. So we need to be careful about it. But at the same time, we don't have to be panicked. We need to make the public aware about it, the behavior, and the kind of not the fear, not to be very nothing happens kind of attitude. We need to adopt it.
All right, let's also quickly take a look at what's happened in Rajasthan's Jhalawar, where 138 birds have died in the last 3 days. The carcass samples of these dead birds have been sent for examination. In fact, these birds are being buried into the ground for disposal. Meanwhile, the Animal Husbandry Minister of Rajasthan has said that they have formed an emergency team and they have alerted the whole state. Care will also be taken to use antivirus spray within a radius of 1 kilometer of the affected area to contain the virus.
पहले रिपोर्टिंग करी थी तो भोपाल से उसकी पॉजिटिव रिपोर्ट आ गई थी। हमने इसके बाद फिर ये अपने डोमेस्टिक के जो पोल्ट्री के सैंपल लिए थे तो वो भेजे गए हुए हैं। तो अभी तक तो उसकी रिपोर्ट आई नहीं है। सैनिटाइज कराया जा रहा है उस एरिया को, अपना डीप गड्ढा खोद के उनको उसमें डाल के बरीड करके फिर चूना डाला जा रहा है।
झालावाड़ बाराकोटा में जो पॉजिटिव आई है तो हमने हमारे विभाग और वन विभाग को एक संयुक्त टीम बना के और पूरे प्रदेश को अलर्ट किया है और हम चाहेंगे कि आने वाले समय में हम इसकी रोकथाम कर पाए। जहाँ जहाँ भी जगह चिन्हित होती है वहाँ इस संक्रमण को रोकने के हम पूरा प्रयास करेंगे। एक तरह से जैसे कोरोना में हम स्प्रे करते थे तो जहाँ भी ये पाए जाते हैं उसके 1-1.5 किलोमीटर के अंदर पूरा स्प्रे करके और इस वायरस को खत्म करने का काम प्रदेश की सरकार करेगी, विभाग करेगा।
Meanwhile, authorities in Rajasthan's Dausa are on high alert as well after birds were found dead in the area, while the Dausa collector has said that they are still awaiting a final lab report but admitted that the bird deaths were in fact unnatural.
इन्फॉर्मेशन आई थी कि दौसा के पास, दौसा के अंदर खटीक मोहल्ले में कुछ बर्ड्स मरे, तो पशुपालन विभाग की टीम आई, हम लोग आए, जिसके सैंपल कलेक्ट किए गए और सैंपलों को आगे लेबोरेटरी में क्या बीमारी से मरे पता करने के लिए भेजा जाएगा। और उसके बाद जैसे अब आगे मॉनिटरिंग की जाएगी, भाई कोई ज़्यादा कोई घटना तो नहीं हो रही है, होगी तो फिर एहतियातन आगे कोई एक्शन लेंगे।
Dr. Salve, if I can come to you here, a lot of the states, or some of the states rather, have, said that they ordered for culling of the birds. Is that the only solution to sort of ensure that this doesn't spread, to sort of contain this?
Yes, because as I said in the epidemiology, the source of infection has to be contained. So in this case, it means the poultry which is getting affected remains a source of the infection. And depending, because we cannot control their migration and their other habitats, so cullination remains the main intervention. Obviously, the other intervention will remain as a sterilization of the local bird market, or sterilization in the perimeter, as we do in the COVID pandemic. So that is important. The health checkup and other awareness generation intervention with the traders who deal with this poultry species is very critical. And third important thing which I say is required is the surveillance of the strain, because what happens, the previous history also tells us that the mutation which happens in the virus, which makes them infective in the human species, it happens in this source itself. Some of the sources have the amplifier of the infection, we call it in the terms of epidemiology. So we need to be vigilant what sort of genotype we are seeing in the various types of species across the states, and we need to be coordinated with the health ministry of the respective states in terms of the surveillance of the, at least for the local traders, some sort of surveillance mechanism has to be there just to see is there any spread or is there any suspected ILI, we call it influenza-like illnesses, which is happening among this local population. I think these are the few interventions which are critical at this point of time.
Dr. Bhurani, what in your view do people need to be careful about at this point in time? Obviously, right now it is not gone to that level, but nonetheless, if one had to take precautions in terms of watching out for signs, for symptoms, what might that be?
One thing is don't panic, have a good information about it. Third is we had to be careful with half-cooked poultry or half-cooked duck, and we had to be, whenever we are eating some kind of these things, we need to be fully cooked. Even on the egg, we need to have a fully cooked non-veg we need to eat. Whenever you are dealing with these birds, you had to be careful with the handling. Probably you had to be aware of it, and the open markets, when you are going to the open markets, and we need to probably kind of are taking the same kind of precautions like we take it with the COVID. being aware, not panicking, cooking all the non-vegetarian foods, and handling with the care. That's all I think at the moment is required.
Right, absolutely, Dr. Bhurani. Those are some important points that you mentioned there. Dr. Salve, of course, at this point in time, we're also, in the midst of another pandemic altogether, of course, the COVID pandemic right now, and this is now coming in 4 states. How difficult, or rather, my question really is, how much at a risk are we of this becoming a bigger widespread issue?
I don't think so that it will become a widespread issue, because this is a seasonal pandemic we see among the bird species. This is a seasonal, as we see the seasonal influenza among the humans. This is a seasonal pandemic. If you recollect, the last year also there was reports of similar unsuspicious killing of the birds and the ducks we have seen. So, but of course, that the fear, the panic comes naturally in the current circumstances we are facing due to COVID pandemic. But as an epidemiologist, as a public health person, I will suggest to the people that you should not get too much panicky about it. But yes, if you sort of follow up the routine precautions which are you following since last 9 to 10 months for COVID, like hand sanitization, wearing masks, and maintaining some sort of social distances, then that will also help you to stay away from such pandemics, such infectious diseases. But the bottom line is we should be vigilant, but we should not be doing some sort of scaremongering, and should not spread a panic, because it has to do, if you need to understand, it has to do with critical issues like nutrition. The egg provides vital nutrition, the meat provides vital nutrition to the Indian population, almost where 30% of children are suffering from malnutrition. So if some sort of panic gets set in, so that also impacts our nutrition sort of supplementation in the diet. So we need to be vigilant and cautious, but not to go into the hysteria with the current bird flu pandemic.
All right. On that note, Dr. Salve, Dr. Bhurani, thank you so much for joining us with your perspective and your thoughts on this issue. So obviously right now there is no need to panic, but of course it is a cause of concern, although all the states which are affected right now are taking all the precautionary measures that are needed to ensure that it doesn't really spread out far and wide. All right, let's turn our attention to the latest as far as the farmer protests are concerned. Now, remember, the deadlock continues, especially over repealing of the farm laws. But here are some ground reports that we're getting you now. Even as the centre farmers' deadlock continues, the farmers pan-India are braving harsh weather conditions. Mir now gets you this ground report from Chandigarh-Delhi highway, where a KFC has turned into a Kisan food corner. That the mall there was earlier shut because of the farmers' agitation, and now it's being used to give shelter to the farmers. The daily usable items, food, vegetables coming daily at the Singhu border are also being kept at KFC and are being given free of cost to those in need. Take a look.
It's more than 40 days and farmers are protesting here at Singhu border, and daily we are seeing the new things. In fact, today what we are going to show you, it's very interesting visuals. This is KFC mall, which my video journalist Wasim is showing you. This is KFC mall located at the Delhi-Chandigarh highway. And if you see, there are this is the parking slot. We are just going inside and we'll show you that how it has converted at the KFC. KFC means that now the full form has now changed, that Kisan food corner. In fact, if we go inside and show you, here you can see that all the items are kept. These are the eatables that are coming daily because they are getting support from various organizations, various communities. And you can see all the food items, vegetables, and all the packed items all are kept over here. And you can see this is inside the mall, which I am showing it to you. There is a spa salon also, but here these items are kept over here. These are the free of costs. Bhai ji, जितनी सामान यहाँ पर आ रहे हैं, ये ऐसा ही है या बढ़ता जा रहा है यहाँ पर डेली का डेली?
नहीं, पहले से थोड़ा कम था। पहले जब हम आए थे 28 तारीख को, तो तब शुरू किया हमने। तो जब बारिश की पहले, जब 28 तारीख को ना पीछे बारिश पड़ी थी 1 महीना पहले, तो हमने थोड़ा बोरे वगैरह रखे थे, तो वो राशन भीग रहा था, तो उन्होंने कहा चलो थोड़ा सा रख लो। तो अभी ऐसे ही सेवा आ रही है, दसवंत संगत की सेवा, तो ऐसे बढ़ता ही जा रहा है। जब हम सबको देते हैं, ऐसी बात नहीं, लोकल भी हमारे से कोई भी चीज़ सुबह जाते हैं काम पर तो वो भी खाना वगैरह ले आस पास के पूरे।
तो बहुत अच्छी चीज़ है। तो दिस इज व्हाट यू कैन सी हियर एंड डेफिनेटली दे आर saving these materials, these food items from the rain as well, because the rain is also falling continuously at Singhu border and in fact in the national capital. Definitely it is not the easy time, but what we are showing it to you, those people who are residing all around this particular area, they are also helping the farmers daily in their protest that is against these farm laws. With video journalist Wasim, I am Alok for Mirror Now.
Let's also get you another ground report from the Singhu border, where farmers can be seen erecting permanent structures despite the biting cold weather. Take a look at this ground report, reflection of farmers' undaunting courage and grit.
Braving this weather is not easy for anyone. And in fact, at this time, the temperature is hovering. The minimum temperature is hovering someday less than 3 degree, 2 degrees Celsius. Right now, the rain is also happening over here at the national capital's Singhu border, where my video journalist Wasim is showing you, and the farmers are still protesting over here. The main thing I would like to show you now, the farmers are also trying to make the protest more successful by erecting these tents. And now these tents, you can see these are the iron rods that they have brought. These iron rods they will set up over here so that they could make the powerful tents so that they could resist the rain that is happening, that rain that is falling. In fact, if you see that tent, you can see this is the sort of a permanent kind of tent they are erecting over here. And in fact, the polythene sheet that they are covering that tent with that. And you can see my video journalist is showing you. And this is not the one place. And if you see the other places as well. Now the canvas tents are being put up over here.
सभी भाई बहन जो हैं बरसात में बैठे हैं, कोई राहत मिलेगा, पर बरसात क्या है, तो हम बस अपनी जमीनों में भी काम करते हैं, तो बरसात है तो उधर भी हम पानी में रहते हैं, वो कौन सी कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है।
बरसात होना कोई बहुत बड़ी बात नहीं है, ठंडी
कोई बात नहीं है,
चल जाएंगे।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
ठीक है। तो अभी भी फिलहाल जैसे अभी हम लोग यहाँ बात कर रहे हैं, बारिश हो रही है और आप लोग यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं, तो और तेज बारिश होगी तो निकल के जाएंगे या बैठे रहेंगे?
नहीं बैठे रहेंगे। हमारे बाकी भाई इधर छोटे छोटे बच्चे बैठे हैं, तो हमको क्या है, कोई बात ही नहीं है। बहुत छोटे छोटे बच्चों में हौसला बधाई हम करेंगे साथ उसके।
ये बताइए खाना पीना कैसे चल रहा है?
बहुत बढ़िया है, आपके सामने ही है, ड्राई फ्रूट हर कोई खाने को चीज।
These are the unions, those who are working over here. They are helping these farmers very much.
And on that note, it's time to wrap up this edition of The Urban Debate. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned to Mirror Now.